is Deborah Wilson, and this is the informative speech. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was laying there, not being able to feel anything in my body, feels completely numb, and staring at the ceiling, watching it phase in and out. All of a sudden, I heard this weird noise. I happened to move my head over, so slowly it felt like, and saw my friend laying on the floor. She was sweaty, and she was vomiting, and I rushed over to her, not realizing what was going on. I was laughing, thinking she was playing, and then I realized she was overdosing on cocaine. I used to be a cocaine addict, and I've been sober now for 2.5 years. It was at what I thought the best times of my life. Now I'm facing the long-term effects with having health problems, memory problems, and problems with my brain. I've always wanted to know what cocaine did to me when I was high. So this speech is about what cocaine does to the body, the brain, and the emotions. The SAMHSA says that cocaine is derived from a cocoa plant. It affects the body, emotions, and is highly addictive. It affects the body by not letting you eat or sleep regularly because all you can think about is getting your next high. Your heart rate also goes up and you have muscular spasms, convulsions, permanent damage to the nose if you snort it. Your emotions, you become paranoid, angry, hostile, and anxious even when you're not high. It's highly addictive because it messes with the brain. Robin Wright says that in your brain there's neurons, and there's gaps between the neurons. And whenever something pleasurable happens to you, a drug called dopamine is released into those gaps and is what makes your pleasure feel so intense or happy. When you do cocaine, eventually the dopamine will fade away. But with cocaine, it makes it stay in there. It blockades it in those gaps, which doesn't let it fade away, which makes you have that intense high feeling for such a long period. If you keep doing cocaine, your body becomes tolerant to it, and that's what makes you have to do more and more of it. The National Institute on Drug Abuse has these pictures of a drink. This is an active brain that is not in cocaine. You can see the red marks, which shows activity. There's a lot of activity, and there's no separation between here and here, or here. Now this is a brain on cocaine. You can see there's barely any red, and there's many spaces that are not connected. There's also very little yellow that is connected around the edge too. Another picture from the National Institute on Drug Abuse is if you are doing injection cocaine. And you can see here, this is a normal brain with very good activity. There's barely any holes. The green is basically connected except for a few little parts. There's red and yellow spots. In a brain that is on cocaine, there's no red whatsoever, and there's very few yellow with a lot of black spots and very little green. When you smoke cocaine, it's where it's crystallized and it becomes known as crack, but it's crack cocaine. You can see this brain is a very good brain. And it also shows there is more green here. On this side, there is the same amount of green, but there's very less red. So when you smoke crack, it takes a very long time to affect the brain because of how short your highs are. The National Institute on Drug Abuse has listed short-term and long-term effects. Some short-term effects are constricted blood vessels, dilated pupils, high temperatures, high blood pressure, and high heart rates. You also have sleep deprivation and loss of appetite. Anxiety and anger are other things you can experience on a high or when you're not on a high, and you take it out on your friends and family. Whenever your high ends, it's called a coke crash. You will experience depression, anxiety, anger, fatigue, and always wanting more. So long-term effects is when you take it for so long, you're always wanting more dosage. You get higher and higher and higher until you're to the point to where you're taking so much that you either overdose or die. You also experience a lot of paranoia because you think everyone knows and is trying to stop you, and you also get holes in your brain. The SAMHSA says if you have a friend that's in need and is a drug addict, especially with cocaine, you need to look for specific signs. Keep an eye out for bloodshot eyes, runny nose or constantly sniffing, stuffy head, like they're always complaining their head hurts. They change their friends. They went from the good crowd to the bad crowd, or they withdraw from friends completely. They are depressed, and they no longer care about their personal appearance. They also lose interest in school, friends, family, and activities they once did. Also, key words to listen for are coke, dust, snow, blow, sneeze, rock, and limes. If you hear a family or friend saying any of those, you should be on the lookout to see if they are abusing cocaine. Cocaine is a highly addictive drug that affects the body, the emotions, and also the brain. It hurts your friends and family who try to help you if they know you're on it, or if they find out afterwards they are hurt because they couldn't help you and it's too late. If you have not started coke, you shouldn't start. And if you have started coke, you should go to your nearest drug help center and try to get help to stop.